I got a job while I was in high school. It was with a friend of my father. I put away most of it and bought some stuff I wanted, but my parents wouldn't buy it for me. My parents aren't wealthy, but they are well enough off. They wanted me to appreciate that material goods were paid for with my time. I didn't mind. I bought myself a PS4 and some games, which they made me share with my younger brother and sister. Once again, I didn't mind. I mostly played while they did homework or slept. They said I had to start paying rent when I graduated from high school. That sucked because I was going to university in the fall, and I was hoping to save up over the summer so I could work less during the school year. So I worked my butt off in school and at work. I ended up getting a job loading delivery trucks before school, and that sucked because I went to sleep at 7 p.m. most nights so I could get up early and go to work. I'm about to graduate and have found a job in another province. I've already started doing my onboarding and online training. I'll go from graduation to loading my car to leave. My parents had a graduation party for me where they tried to present me with a check for all the rent I paid, plus a pittance and interest. I looked at the check for about a minute and started laughing. All I could think of was the fact that I had no social life during university because I was working. I didn't have any money in investments like my friends did because they were taking my money. I asked them how they were doing this for my sister. They said they weren't, since she wasn't working while she went to school. I tore up the check and told them to shove it up their butts. I told them that I would speak to them again when they compensated me for all the sleep I lost, 4 years of no social life during university, and 4 summer vacations. I told my little brother not to get a job or they'd screw him over too. I went to my room and grabbed my computer, some clothes, my PS4, and my toiletries. My brother and sister can play on the PS5 my parents bought the family. They were yelling at me the whole time. I said if they touched me or tried to stop me, I'd call the cops. I loaded up my car, which I paid for, which I insure, and is registered to me. I drove to my friend's parents' house and had a bit of a breakdown. They let me stay there since she was away at university in another city. I blocked my parents and my brother and sister. I had already given notice at my job, so I called my boss and told him I was sick and would not be available for my last week. He said he understood and laughed. He said he was surprised I had kept working this close to graduation. My grandfather called me to talk a couple of days later. We went to Timmy's, and he let me unload everything I felt. They took the money from me that I could have used to make my life better. I didn't even have time for a girlfriend. My entire university romantic life was hooking up with the woman I worked with when her ex-husband had the kids for the weekend. He said my parents' hearts were in the right place and that they thought they were helping me. I said they owed me 4 years of fun, of parties I was too tired to go to, of social events and networking I didn't do, all the crap they were subsidizing for my sister and that they would end up subsidizing for my brother. He said he understood and hugged me. He's old, but I couldn't have gotten free of that hug if I tried. He asked me if I needed money to start my new job. I said I didn't want anything that came from my parents. He gave me a cashier's check for about 3 times what my parents took from me. He said to use it however I wanted in my new life. He said it wasn't part of my inheritance or anything. It was a gift from him and something my grandma would have wanted me to have. My friends think I was stupid to tear up the check. Most of them agree with me about being angry at my parents. Some family called me to say I behaved terribly and owe my parents an apology. I thanked them for the call or message and blocked them. I'm calmer now, and I don't think I'm wrong, but maybe I'm too close to see what I'm missing. Am I the idiot for telling my parents to keep all the money they stole from me while I was in university and shove it up their butt? Not the idiot. They saw that the lifestyle they forced on you was killing you for years and did nothing. And they waited to do it at a party they hosted so they could get full credit as great parents, too. The fact that they never intended to pull this crap on your sister reeks of bias. OP, you were the test child. I presume you're the oldest. They thought they were instilling the values of hard work into you, saw that it was horrid and harmful, and decided not to do it to the 2 younger children, but not to correct you. As you pointed out yourself, the money they gave you isn't worth what you could have gotten out of investing it, on top of being able to actually buy yourself things. Heck, chances are they weren't planning to give it back to you initially. They've actively harmed you here, cost you money, opportunities such as networking, opportunities such as developing friendships, maybe finding your future wife, and much more. I once heard the first child referred to as the burnt pancake. Spot on. Dude, the worst thing is that they think they were helping you. They want to take credit for who you've become, yet it was you who did it. Bravo to you, and congrats on graduating and starting this new journey of your life. I hope it's everything you want and more. Good luck. I need to get this off my chest. I'm a 32-year-old man, and I have a younger sister, who we'll call Emily, who's 24. My parents have always spoiled her, and it's only gotten worse as we age. I don't mind helping family, but this situation has gone too far. Here's the story. I started working out of college, saved diligently, and now own a small but successful business. On the other hand, my parents haven't been great with money. They've always lived beyond their means, so they've never really had savings to fall back on. Emily, being the youngest, was pampered throughout her childhood and teenage years. She got everything she wanted, a new car at 16, fully funded college tuition, which she dropped out of, and frequent shopping sprees. On the other hand, I worked part-time jobs and took out student loans to get through school. Fast forward to now, Emily's getting married to her boyfriend of 2 years. They announced the engagement a few months ago, and my parents were over the moon. They immediately started planning a lavish wedding, far beyond what they could afford. Naturally, they turned to me for financial support. At first, it was small things. Can you help with the engagement party? And could you chip in for the dress? I agreed, thinking it wouldn't be much. But then they started asking for more. We need help with the venue deposit, and the catering is going to cost a lot. Can you cover it? I sat down with them and explained that while I'm doing well financially, I'm not made of money and have my own expenses and future to consider. They brushed it off, saying it was my duty to help my family, especially my sister. They even suggested I take out a loan if necessary. The last straw was when they asked me to pay for the honeymoon. I put my foot down and told them I was done funding this wedding. My parents were furious. They accused me of being selfish and ungrateful, saying that family should come first. Emily, of course, sided with them and is now barely speaking to me. She's posting passive-aggressive stuff on social media about selfish people and not being able to rely on family. My parents are now telling everyone in our extended family that I'm refusing to help my sister in her time of need, and I'm getting a lot of backlash. Some relatives have called to scold me, while others stay out of it. I'm starting to feel guilty, but at the same time, I think it's unfair to expect me to bankroll such an extravagant event. So am I the idiot for this? So very not the idiot. They're using you like an ATM. Yes, family comes first, but you are part of that family, and they most definitely are not putting you first. You've been extremely generous, and they're taking advantage of you. I wouldn't give a single cent more, ever, and if others come at you for it, maybe have the numbers ready of what you've given them up to this point. If it's possible to get refunds for some of the things you've already put deposits on, I would do so. You're the bride's brother, not a cash machine. You don't say whether you're close to your sister. Is she aware of the amount of support you've given so far? Or does she think mom and dad shelled out tens of thousands and you're balking at some individual item that's relatively short money? In any event, your success does not oblige you to bankroll their idiocy. Exactly. This isn't a time of need. This is an extravagant wedding that your parents are planning without the funds to back it. Your sister can get married with fewer bells and whistles and without your financial contribution. Exactly. Their mouths wrote a check that their butts can't cash. Can only imagine the expectations from an entitled sister when she has children, or wants to buy a house, or has medical expenses. She's going to demand OP pay for round-the-clock nanny care, plus every possible pricey, shiny baby status expense. Vibrating bassinets? Check. My 32 female, brother's fiance, Chelsea, 32 also, does not fit in well with our family. She's very loud and has never had a full-time job. Both my parents are in their mid-60s and continue to work full-time with no ability to retire. I know her family has struggled even more financially. My parents have always been very kind to Chelsea, though blow-ups have happened with my dad related to her excessive smoking and financial decision-making. She and my brother announced their engagement around 2 to 3 years ago. This led to some intense planning and spending, despite their lack of money. Shortly after, they announced she was pregnant. They ended up canceling the reception, but only after losing the deposit. The baby has since been born. Because we want people to have somewhere to go after their ceremony, my dad offers to host a barbecue for them. Chelsea is initially hesitant, but eventually gets on board and creates a Facebook group, and everyone she wants invited, including our extended family. She insists we not refer to the event as the reception because she still believes they'll have the reception they intended at some point. She made it clear to the group that we were planning the event. My parents and I got together and clarified roles. The budget is a couple of $1,000, including food, chair rentals, etc. I made a website where people can RSVP. I post the RSVP link to the Facebook group. Shortly after, she starts peppering me with questions about food, etc. She seems pleased with my responses. Then she asks, is it going to be a BYOB kind of thing, or if we're going to provide the alcohol? It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I informed her that we aren't providing alcohol and that my dad prefers not to have alcohol because of liability concerns. She absolutely explodes and sends me a slew of messages. Here are the highlights. A dry reception is stupid. No one will come if the event is dry. If people can't drink, they'll smoke. My family's judgmental. It's not what she envisioned for her day. I weathered the comments, telling her to discuss it with my brother and bring up her concerns with my dad. She then says if there's no alcohol, there will be no barbecue. She proceeded to delete my RSVP request from the Facebook group and added a post that said the event was canceled on account of no alcohol. This is mortifying to me. 20 people had already RSVP'd. I'm livid, to the point that it affected me at work all week. I think she's ungrateful and entitled, and she's behaved atrociously towards the family she's joining. I sent her an angry message saying that she had disrespected my parents and that she had thrown my work in my face, to which she responded, "Nothing's getting thrown in your face. It's canceled unless we can make alcohol happen. Not a big deal." She continues to insist that my parents and I are in the wrong. Am I the idiot? Edit. We also wanted to limit things to cost that we could cover money-wise. My brother's not interested in planning, not in a bad way. He has a lot going on. The idea came about because the extended family would be traveling for around 30 minutes, and it just seemed sad to have a 30-minute ceremony at a church and then go directly home. Everyone's the idiot. You and your parents know full well that alcohol is a normal part of socializing in the U.S., especially at a celebration. To say that you're throwing a celebration in honor of someone and wait until after sending invites to disclose this is intentional deception or awful planning. She's also an idiot for how she reacted and talked about the cancellation. I get the vibe that they're punishing Chelsea with the bad reception because they hate her, LOL. You are the idiot. By your own admission, your dad has picked fights with a grown woman about her own finances and how much weed she smokes. Two things that are most assuredly none of his business. So your family has a history of overstepping and animosity towards the bride. Your own post is dripping with judgment and dislike of her. Your parents didn't offer to host, to do something nice for her or your brother. In your edit, you say they didn't want to make the family drive. Gasp, half an hour, just for the ceremony. You mean just to watch them get married. Isn't that important enough? So they wanted to host a gathering, which is fine. But if you're going to pretend it's for the couple, you should at least let them have some input. She's right about many things she says when she explodes. Your family is judgmental. Having a dry event completely changes the vibe of an event. Edit to update. Thanks everyone for your feedback. In retrospect, hosting the event for me was about pleasing extended family and not about the couple, which is wrong. In my defense, I threw her a nice baby shower with my mom and took her wedding dress shopping. So I tried to be genuinely helpful at points. My dad says he told them no alcohol, but obviously she didn't understand. or he could be revisiting history. I'm one of her bridesmaids, and I'm starting to think I shouldn't be after realizing how deep my resentment and judgment toward her are. My sister is 23 years old, and she moved in with us for college. She moved out after she graduated. Edit, she has a job in her own place. 2 weeks ago, she visited us and told us that she was pregnant. We didn't even know she was seeing someone. She's practically moved in with us and wants to keep the child, and I told her I would support her. It was not planned at all, and she said there was almost zero chance she would get pregnant. She didn't use birth control because he was on medication just as effective as birth control. I've been helping her plan her life now. I told her that I would help her with money, but it was going to be very tough to raise her kids on her own. A week ago, I asked her if she was informing the father of the child, and she brushed it away and said the child has no father. I thought it was probably a guy she didn't want in her child's life, but from what she had talked about him, it seems that this is not the case. She clearly likes him and thinks highly of him. She keeps asking me if it's the right thing to do, and I honestly don't know. I've never met this guy, and she thinks highly of him, but also doesn't want the guy around. I don't want to prod, but she keeps changing her mind. I had a very stressful day yesterday, and she kept asking me about this, and I sort of snapped at her. I told her that she was going to be a mother and that she needed to do what was best for the child and not for the parents. She shouldn't be deciding based on what was comfortable for her or the father. She started to cry and was silent for a while. She then said she really needed my help and begged me not to stop helping her, and I said I wouldn't abandon her. My husband thinks I was overly harsh on a 23-year-old freaking out about major life changes, and I should have taken a softer approach. She hasn't really talked to me since then and has been avoiding any attempt at small talk. The reason I feel like an idiot was mostly the way she talked to me. The tone she used is seared into my brain when she told me she needed my support. Not the idiot. Raising a child is expensive. If your sister wants to deprive her child of a father and child support, it's her choice. However, there is no guarantee he won't find out and sue for custodial rights. Her plan has more holes than Swiss cheese. Your delivery may have been slightly heated, but you're not wrong. Your sister needs to put the needs of the baby first. OP is being awfully blasé about this whole thing. The father deserves to know about their child. Also, the child is owed support from the father, and the sister's plan takes that support away. They both can't see the huge baby-shaped train that's about to hit them. OP might find that their money, energy, and patience get siphoned away very quickly. I'm going with you are the idiot for OP. Their lack of knowledge and wimpiness about what's coming is going to sink them. He was on medication just as effective as birth control. And how effective was that? Unless he's in a human trial of male birth control. No, he's not. He might have been lying or misunderstood the difference between infertile or sterile, or many other slightly more innocent reasons, but a quick Google search of what he claims he was on would have probably been a really good idea. No offense, but if your sister believed a lie that was blatant and easily disproven, then she's gullible in a bad way. She's pregnant now, though, so she needs to grow the F up and make their baby her priority. Update. I talked to her last night, and we cleared things up. It seems she's been dating a trans woman. She has informed her partner, and they will raise the child together. I don't get it, but this feels like a much better outcome than her raising a married guy's kid on her own. Our parents will freak out when they learn about this, but that's for another day. She told me she expected me to react badly to this, and that's why she was freaking out.